So I do have to be in a space where I'm full and ready to give at the time that I am having these classes.
Yeah, so you have to be protective of your time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When it comes to your clients or folks that have reached out to you, do you ever have moments where people are like, how do I make time for this thing that you've made? They can like see it's special, but they question themselves.
All the time. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's time, sometimes it's like I said, I'm not flexible enough, I've never done this, I don't want people to see me, and you just have to give them their space. Or I'll depending on how close we are, I'm like, all right, I'll come over and do it with you, so you can at least feel comfortable. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but again, they tried it, or they thought about it, and that works for me. Like, as long as I can plant the seed, I'm available whenever you need whatever else you need.
All right, so tell me about the power of self. I feel like that's something that in your interview we've crossed 3 times, and it's something that's very important to you.
Yes. I feel like, and I've always kind of been one of my own people, like one of my favorite people, and as I grew, it went more from, oh, I don't care what you think, to I understand how you feel that way, and let's work on things. So that finding that center self helped me get there. Like, because sometimes people aren't angry. They're sad. Sometimes they're not sad. They had a flat tire and they just don't feel like it, and everybody can't give you what you want. And you can't give everyone else what they want. So it's extremely important to be comfortable with whomever you are deciding to be.
Yeah. Was there a journey to finding yourself, or have you always been your favorite?
I have not always been my favorite. There was a journey into finding myself, and I think it happened. I was telling you before the interview started how I lived in Vegas. So what happened was,
you said that, and I was fascinated. I was like, wow, okay, that.
Yeah, what happened was, I had went to college, and I was like, St. Augustine's College.
Okay.
Yep. It's a university now. So.
Is it? Oh,
yes.
Okay. All right. The switch.
Fancy, right? And then after I had met a boy, and then I moved with him to Vegas. I'm like, let's do it. What are we doing? We're 20-something. It's gonna be great. But in Vegas, I didn't have anyone. Like, I didn't have any family, any friends. Yeah. So I had to get comfortable quick with who I was. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh. So I'm the support, okay? Like, I'm the encouragement. This is new, And you just have to start finding those things within yourself. And once you do, you realize how important they are. So everyone, of course, everyone prefers to have those people in their lives. However, if there's ever a case in point where you don't, you're able to self-sustain and not go over the edge. And sort through things instead of letting them, take over your mind space.
I think one of the most fascinating things you ever said to me was when you said, oh yeah, math. That was my thing. I was like, numbers? Math? What?
Yes. I was a math major.
How do you go from math major to, let's go do some yoga and roll up this doobie real quick?
Because I used to roll up doobies and do Cal 3. It's always been a part of my life. I was a stoner teenager, so, we're not new to this. It was just done a lot different then. Of course, we were just smoking to be high as fuck. We're like, this is great, stoner time, But as I got older, I found that it was a calming agent. When I felt anxious, I wanted to smoke. Or not even anxious, just not still. When I just felt shaky or something was off, And what I've come to realize is I think it's the actual breathing that you're doing, because you do have controlled breathing when you're smoking. You're controlling the inhale, you're controlling the exhale, and that is the same thing that translates in yoga when I'm telling you to breathe through the poses, and that's why you're inhaling here and you're exhaling on this other thing, because it creates this relaxation within your body that just allows you to let go.
Yeah. Okay. So The art of letting go. Talk me through that.
It's hard for people to let go.
It is. I'm one of those people. I'd say that with no issue.
And I think a lot of that is because you don't trust what's going to happen.
Yeah.
In yoga, you have to trust yourself and your body and your mind and your biceps, you know.
Those are all separate things.
Those are all, you have to trust these things in order to be successful and to be like, yes, I nailed it, you know. And you won't know that until you actually nail it, and then you're like, damn, I could have done this the whole time. So it's definitely restoring faith in everyone who comes through the door and does a pose, because they leave, if not fully trusting themselves, at least acknowledging that they should more or working on being better at it.
So repetition and practice.
Repetition, that's how you create a habit.
How important is repetition to what you do?
Repetition is what I do.
Okay.
I can't preach all of these things in my class if I'm not actively doing it. If I'm not actively doing it, it's not even on my mind to talk about. If it's not on my mind, I can't share it with people, you know. So I have to, be an example almost of what I am sharing with everyone. I have to know what all of this feels like in my body so I can say, hey, this may be a little tight here, you know, just to give people a heads up. I can't introduce a lesson in my class that I have not yet experienced or are in the middle of experiencing. You got to practice what you preach. And the beauty of yoga is the building of the practice. When you see these extravagant poses and things, it's repetition. No one started off looking the way that, you know, they do now. Every day is a different journey. Some day you can hold it, some days you cannot. And then accepting all of those things as feelings that pass, and understanding that, okay, sometimes my body wants to do this and sometimes it wants to do that, and sometimes it wants to look like this and sometimes it wants to look like that. And that is what I mean by being comfortable with yourself. Just being comfortable with those things that you can't change today, that is going to be exactly what it is right now. And then we can try something else another day or try the same thing later. But right now, this is what it is, and we take that and we move forward.
Yeah.